Good morning, Tuesday morning. I'm already out and trucking. Took me about 10 minutes to get here. It's going to take me 10 minutes to get to the next spot. It was pretty dark this morning when I started, about 6. It's about 6:40 now. So I still wanted to get this in because it's already day 12. Wow, it's going by pretty fast. I'm kind of shocked how fast it's going. This giant bill always freaks me out a little bit on the camera. It's the angle. So we're going to cut across a campus here, save us a little bit of time. Otherwise we have to go around, and it's pretty big in this part of town. So let's see if I can walk and talk and not break my neck. It did rain early in the morning, but it's not raining now. I did bring my slicker, as you see, and my kit. And I was thinking about sort of like the Boy Scout motto and the nature of systems and so forth. 1 is done and 2 is 1. And the redundancy of, like, having a raincoat, an umbrella, a tissue, charger, multiple cables. Yeah, I guess it sounds a bit obsessive, but the aspect of being caught out sometimes and not being prepared in this environment can be a bit disconcerting. Quite often people wonder why I'm pretty positive about the entire experience, and that's really what it is. It's experience. I know kind of what works for me to sort of be here and navigate here and kind of make my life a little bit easier. It looks a little slick right there, so I'm gonna slide through here. So I'm always kind of watching out for that kind of stuff. Again, based on experience. I've busted my ass on it once or twice. I don't think I can afford any more heavy duty fall down. I mean, it's gonna happen, but if I can avoid it, it's even better. The thing I like about cutting across here is that early morning, there's no traffic. People are just now kind of getting it together. When you get up early here, you get an edge, depending on how early you get, so that's exciting to me too. It's not really a wake up and attack culture, and that's okay. It's all about the long game for these cats, so I get it. But when I think about natures of systems for myself, where the process is sort of loving the journey and not the destination, it certainly seems to keep me going if I think about the objectives, not necessarily the goal predominantly. So that's useful. I know today is going to be a long day, so I want to be prepared for any sort of little thing that might come up. So I got my kit bag here with me. I think I'm going to upgrade to something a little bit more waterproof, because now, like a true homeless hobo, I've got stuff in plastic bags. So I might head down to Decathlon this week and get maybe a diver's bag. I've been holding off on getting one for a while. You see a lot of people on holiday when they go to Thailand, because they do snorkeling and diving, obviously, but a lot of times they're on boats and stuff gets wet and splashy and rainy, so sort of the diver's kit bag is kind of nice because it keeps everything super dry. It's an inside joke around here. We're heading out to see our friends in a suburb. So we'll take a private coach, about 40 minutes if there's no traffic. We'll be out there for most of the day, hanging out, getting people riled up, trying to inspire them and be inspired by them. That's really the key. Is oftentimes people say, wow, you have so much energy. Of course I'm thinking, oh, I'm tired, but try not to believe everything I think. I get a lot of energy for the people I'm around. especially these folks. You know, they're just as curious about me as I am about them. And that sort of funny wonderment keeps me going. And the challenge of the language and the culture. Try to bridge those communication gaps. That's always kind of juicy. As much as it can be consternation and frustration. But that's alright. We keep it going anyway. Because that's sort of what we're talking about, is showing up and throwing up and going through the motions one way or the other. And just doing it. So when I get up early and I come out here and, you know, I see a handful of people that kind of got it, and we're sort of in the same age group. You know, we've got sort of a different assessment about our time and how we want to spend our life. So when I see other people walking and jogging before they get their day going, I'm like, you're like-minded. You know that by sharpening just this edge helps the entire sort of cutting process on the saw. I think that was sort of like Stephen Covey way back when, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. You know, I love kind of all that stuff, and I try to keep it going. I keep trying to keep priming the pump with these kind of nuggets and reflection of personal identity. My biggest challenge now is I'm still sort of up in the air for apartment hunting. I looked at several places that I thought were good, and I'm still trying to settle in on which neighborhood. I know what my instinct is telling me. I know what other folks are telling me. So I think I have to trust my instincts. The challenge is that there's sort of a convoluted process. Most people, like myself, if you don't know anybody that has a place, you got to go through an agent. And of course the agent works on a commission, and they say, oh, foreigner, that's an ATM. So they always try to show you things higher than your budget or your price range that maybe you're willing to break. If what they showed me was, you know, stunning and awesome, you know, then it would tempt me. But considering that it's just some overpriced, mediocre, or as we say, chabadoa almost, and it's just like sort of a quick solution to get cash out of my pocket, yeah, I'm not into that. You know, if some of these agents, when they did find somebody and they acted as an advocate not only for the landlord but also for the tenant, then they might have a little bit more synergy in locking in the sale and the commission. And I get it, it's not easy. It's a question of numbers. I do have one that's pretty positive out in the burbs. Maybe I should talk to her again when I get a chance and see if she knows somebody here, which is a little bit more suited for me. Even this is nice to sort of walk sort of freely. I'm on the road. It's not helping the situation because bikes are coming against me, but I find the pavement to be a little bit more stable than the pathways. They're kind of elevated, but they put these tiles kind of like on a sand bed, because they get moved around a lot when they want to do new projects. So they're fairly uneven, and even with good footwear, in my case service boots, take a toll on the old fat man's ankles. So I get in the road, and that's what happens. But that wasn't for me. It was for the cat on the bicycle over here, cutting in front of a car. One of the keys here is to sort of go your own way and hold your ground. Size does matter. Peaceful little birdies. Saw one of the feng shui guys. He had like 3 minas, which were pretty chatty, and I wasn't sure how well that worked for a drumming up business. They have 3 chatty minas at your door. Since anybody that's going in for feng shui anyway might be a little bit superstitious, so maybe the cultural cue meaning is different here for some people. Beautiful birds, but the aspect of keeping a bird in a cage never sat well with me, physically and sort of spiritually and metaphorically. An aviary, it's kind of a bigger cage. I probably could deal with that if the bird was really tiny. You might not know he was in a cage. It's kind of deep. You know, after these walks and talks, it's all kind of downhill from here, in the sense that it's, you know, easy. It's just kind of coasting. The biggest challenge for myself is getting up and doing it, getting it going, making it happen, and then everything else just seems to fall into place. I'll tell you one I heard yesterday, or actually read yesterday, is from the People's Coach, everybody's favorite, Mark Bell. He's talking about having his free gym, you know, and the things that he's done as far as being a meathead millionaire and all his accomplishments, and how the free gym is, you know, something he's decided to do. Basically, he's opened up an amazing facility in Sacramento, and it's free. You know, he's trying to become maybe what Westside Barbell was to strength training on the West Coast. You gotta respect it. I mean, they're just amazing, all of those guys, and I love following them on Instagram, and I'm a big fan of his brother Chris Bell and his movies. That's how I got hooked on him way back when, on Bigger, Stronger, Faster, Prescription Thugs. Just some really unique people. Essentially, he said the greatest weight, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm not reading it directly, the greatest weight to lift up is people. But that kind of got me, man. You know, as a motivator, and as an educator, as a teacher, as a friend, as a mentor, lifting up people, that's heavy, literally and figuratively. What can we, as grinders and players and rollers, ballers, motivators, coaches, whatever you want to call it, man, doers. What can we do in service of other folks? I'm getting choked up. To lift them up. He says that's the greatest way. Because a lot of people, they don't know yet. They haven't gotten it. They're still working on it. Life is a work in progress for them, like the rest of us. So, if that's anything I'm going to be thinking about, is how to lift other people up, including myself, and that's where it starts. Once we lift ourselves up, then it gets a little bit easier to try to lift other people up. And I'm not talking about, like, you know, telling them what to do or whatever else, but trying to get them to enjoy things the way that maybe they could or should, and live a life that's full and satisfying, keeps them happy. All right, folks, I'm gonna dwell on that. Nice walk, nice talk this morning. So enjoy. Take care.